Hello, a wonderful Sunday to you, my friends. Welcome to day number 25 of our 66 days of data with KNIME. Let's have a quick look at what we're going to cover today. All right, so today we're finally going to include the rest of our source files. So far, we have been only working with our tracks file and did quite a bit with it. And if you missed out, just have a look at the playlist and you'll surely find it. Today, we are going to add the two additional source files, the artist URIs, which is basically a library of artists and their belonging Spotify unique identifiers. Plus, we're going to add another artist file, which tells us a little bit about popularity of our artists, so to say. So, before we start, just a few announcements. As always, if you basically want to download all these, or if you want to download the most recent workflow that we're doing today, make sure you go to my public space on the KNIME Hub. That's hub.knime.com/Covisoft. There you'll find the public space, and within that, there is a folder called 66 days of data, where you'll find this workflows, and from now onwards all future workflows plus a few of the older ones. In addition to that, here is my little present to you again, because you know what, if you want to get the great books from KNIME Press for free, some are free, but some you usually have to pay 20 euros for. If you want to get them for free, make sure that you send me an email with the subject KNIME or anything that makes me recognize that you're referring to KNIME, and I'll send you a 100% discount voucher. So you will get these books that are really awesome, that are really hands-on KNIME, take you from zero to hero for free. With that aside, let's have a look at what we are going to do today. So today, and let me just quickly switch to the screen. Today, this is our old workflow, but let's have a look at what today's task is. So we are here on this page, data exploration in 66 days of data with KNIME, and we are already in section number 5. And in section number 5, day 25, the tasks are as follows. So read the artist file, artist URIs, and extract artist IDs. Read the second artist file, artist CSV, and use the transformation tab to retain only the columns with artist name and artist popularity information. Convert to integer the popularity column. All right, so that's aside, let's just have a look at how we're going to do this. First of all, I would say we are going, just like we did here with the tracks.csv file, we are going to use a file reader. So we choose it here. We don't want to connect it to anything, so we just drag and drop it onto the canvas like this, and then we double click to open. And as my data folder is not within my workflow, I'm going to set this to relative to, but not the current workflow data area, but the current workflow. So this means if I now click browse, I can basically see everything within that folder here. And the file we first are going to include is the artist URIs CSV, csv.csv. Why? For whatever reason. Maybe I just made a mistake when I downloaded it. We say open, and right from the get-go, we see that there are some, well, problems, I would say. In general, it has recognized 2 columns. That is good. So we have the artist name here and the artist URI here. But you see, it thinks we have headers, and that's just not the case. We do not have headers, right? The first row information is already an artist name and his unique Spotify ID. So let's uncheck has column header. Now KNIME gives the generic column names column 0 and column 1. KNIME always starts counting at 0. but there is something we can do about it. Let's just have a quick look at the transformation tab. And I guess this transformation or this update of the file reader came around version 4.4, version 4.5 of KNIME. And it's a really helper because you now can do a lot of tasks in one node, which makes your workflow much cleaner and your automations much cleaner, because what you could do instead of doing an additional node, a column rename, you just do it here in the transformation tab. So the first column will be named artist. And the second column, and you see it already here in the preview, the second column, let me just quickly have a look at the ID. We call it artist ID. So artist ID. And with that, it discovers also that these are strings. This is right. So that is a text. The artist name in general is a text. Also, the artist ID in general is a text. So we're going to use that here in the transformation tab. We click OK. And we, of course, comment our node. So import artist URIs.csv. And I make this bold and blue to indicate that we are importing a source file. So the same should be true here. So let's just quickly do this. Bold and blue. All right, so now that we know that, and then execute. All right, that looks good, right? If we look at the resulting table, right-click File Table, and we click Control+ to enlarge it a little bit. Yeah, that looks just about right. So if we have things like, so we have cool bands here, right? Superfly 7, Super Duper Brick, Super Merc 2, Super Organism, Superstar DJ Exclusive. So everything very super here. So that looks just about right. So let's have a look at the second file. Maybe we could put this one here on the top path, just another file reader here at the bottom. And once again, one trick, one trick without a click, so to say. So while we're looking at this file reader, while it's selected with this black border around it here, we can just press F6 on our keyboard to open the config dialog. If you're a little bit like me, I like to do a lot of stuff with keyboard. Same logic here, relative to, but not to the current workflow data area, but to the current workflow. Browse, and we say data. And then we say artist.csv. Well, this one has headings, so that's pretty nice. All right, we keep has column header, but if we just look at the task, we only want the artist name and the artist popularity information. So how do we do that in KNIME? Pretty easy. We once again go to the second tab here, transformation tab, and we keep the artist. We uncheck everything except for popularity. And we could rearrange also if we wanted to, right? That's not within our task, but that's basically what we wanted to do. And you can also see here the data type. You see it here in the preview, S for string in this little icon here, and D for double, which is a decimal number. You can see it here, but you also see it here, right? So here we have double. We could select something different. And we have artists here with the string. Okay, so that's fine. Let's just label it. Import artists.csv. Make it bold and make it blue because it is a file name. And then right-click, execute. Here we are. So 27,000 rows with 2 columns here. 81,000 rows with 2 columns here. I guess sooner or later we're somehow going to bring them together, but that's not the task of today because there is just another task if we switch over here that we need to do today. So convert to integer the popularity column. All right, so we could not have done this in the transformation tab because here we only have the option to select either a number as a double or a string. So that's why we need an additional node. And you might have seen it already in the beginning of the video. The node is called double to int. So let me just quickly show you, if you don't know what this node's name is. How do you find out? Well, basically what I usually do is I go to Google and I say KNIME convert double to integer. And then I already see, oh, look here. The first thing is the KNIME hub converts doubles in a column or a set of columns to integers. Or if we just do the same search, basically, we also see our friends over at NodePit here. Basically, the same thing, the same explanation, a different view a little bit. I also like this popular predecessors and popular successors, which is basically also what you would have if you use the workflow coach. But that's basically a good information. So NodePit is always a good alternative to the KNIME Hub if you want to look for node explanation and what you might want to do next. But with that aside, we first have to connect it. So we just double click and put it a little bit aside. So convert artist popularity to int, which is short for integer. All right, and we bold this because it is a column. So let's scroll down a little bit like this. And here, you know this already. We basically only have one double number in here. That's why we only have this one. If we would have more than one, if we would have kept all the other columns, probably we could exclude some here. One thing that might be interesting to you is the rounding type. So do you rather want to round down, then you use floor? Do you want to round up, then you use seal? Or do you want to use the standard rounding rules, then you use round? And that is basically everything up to 0.4 rounds down, everything 0.5 and above rounds up. So that's just a setting you might want to have a look at. So we just execute with F7, and now you see also, so we had like, let me just see where we have a rounding. Maybe here the fifth cell should be 43. And if we look at it, yes, it is 43. All right, so that solves basically today's task. Tomorrow, we're going to have a lot of fun with the joiner node. We're going to join stuff together. I have not read what tomorrow's task is, but I assume we join these 3 streams somehow together. So once again, I hope that is helpful for you. If you do like the stuff, please leave a like and or a comment and consider following or subscribing, because it does help me. It helps the channel. It makes my effort worth the while and helps me to keep this information and these tutorials up and running. So that's basically it for today with 66 days of data. See you on day number 26 tomorrow. Take care and bye-bye.